Do you think it's any based on luck? Not that much, in my opinion. A lot of people might disagree. I like to refactor what people think of as luck as opportunities. And people will be like, oh, opportunities only appear based off of luck. No, they appear based off of a lot of how you carry yourself and how you do stuff. And all of that luck / opportunity means jack shit if you're not able to carry it. Because, you know, use myself as an example. When I was a tiny streamer and I was at like 15 CCV, Zen rated me. And I only retained about 10 average viewers from that for the next month. She rated me with a couple thousand people and it didn't boost me much at all. I got an extra 10 CCV, which I thought was huge, going from like 15 to 25, but that was it. I got like an insane opportunity and I was not able to be like pop off in that moment and be like, woo, you should all follow me. Like, you know, I did not get that many follows or anything like that. But then sometimes other people get rated and they get people to really stay even when they're that small because they like know what to do. I didn't know how to be entertaining at the time. I was just vibing, right? And then after that, I locked in and said, you know, actually do want to try now. Let me figure out how to try. And then I did. And then after that, when I got rated, then people did actually stay. But like early on, they didn't because I wasn't really trying to put myself out there. I wasn't even like introducing myself and like I genuinely wasn't really trying. But yeah, so I don't know. It's just like people will call it luck, but I think luck does not mean a damn thing if you can't also be good at what you do. You know what I mean? And even then, that wasn't luck. Zen didn't raid me because I got lucky and she randomly found me. It was because I chatted in her chat occasionally, so she saw a name she recognized. I was just a normal viewer. I wasn't begging for attention. I just occasionally keck, you know, I think I TTS'd once or twice or something. I was like a normal viewer, right? And then she saw me live. I wouldn't say that's luck because if I had never chatted, she wouldn't have chosen me. So there was definitely an element of that happened because I put myself out there. Was I trying to ever beta raid? No, but I said a couple funny things in her chat so she remembered the name, right? Which is why I say this is not luck based because there's always something. You know what I mean? Like there's always something. I'm saying that's cool. What do you think is important to do for people to be actually entertaining / engaging? I could not tell you. If you gotta ask, Also, literally anything can be entertaining if you quote unquote do it right. There's an audience for everything, so there's no one answer. I don't understand the concept of why small streamers want to raid only small streamers. Is it wrong to just pass your viewers to someone that you enjoy watching? I think there's 3 different things, four different thoughts there, and it depends on the person. Some people only, as small streamers, only want to raid other small streamers because they're all in the same struggle. And they're like, if I raid a big streamer, a lot of my people will just bounce. But if I raid a small streamer and I'm like really trying to get them to stay, maybe they'll keep one viewer and I know how hard it is to grind that one person. So sometimes it's just small streamers wanting to support each other and lift each other up. Sometimes it's this idea of, it's like a little more negative, but not in a bad way. It's like the big streamers don't need my raids, so I'm not even going to attempt sending it to them, which is not true. I'm really thankful if someone raids with 20 viewers. You know, some people think like the big streamer won't even care, so why even try? Whereas a small streamer will be more appreciative. I don't think that's the case. I think a lot of big streamers are still very appreciative, but they tend to run their streams in a way where they don't like sit there and gush over every little thing. So you get the feeling like they don't, but it's just them trying to stay professional and keep their stream moving, you know? Like it's not like a deep thing. So sometimes it's that. And then sometimes it's just because they're friends. They're just keeping it to their friends. And a lot of the time, like smaller streamers are friends with smaller streamers because they kind of met because they started at the same time or something, you know? So they tend to keep things in their circles. That's really it. It's really not a big deal for most stuff. It can seem like you're advertising your channel. I think if anyone thinks that, they are too deep in their own head. Like if you're a small streamer and you want to rate a larger streamer, but you don't because you worry they're going to think you're advertising, you got to stop thinking like that. I get it if you raid the same person every day, all right? Like if I get rated by the same person every single day with 20 viewers and it's not a friend of mine, I might be like, okay, do they just really like me or are they trying to like be noticed? I might think that a little, but I'm also not going to tell them to stop ever. I will always give the benefit of the doubt and be like, I think they just like the streams. Like even if that negative thought pops up in my head, I just go, I'm not going to stick to that being the thing. I'm going to always assume the nicer one, which is maybe they just really like the stream, you know? So I think most big streamers don't care. They don't think someone's trying to like do anything weird. So I wouldn't think deeply about who you do or don't stream or raid rather or whatever. Like it doesn't matter. You just do what you like, dude. Joel famously gets neurotic about his numbers. Joel's always like crying and throwing up. He's fine. You know what it comes from? It's because he was one of the first VTubers. He had to go through it. Okay. He was one of the first VTubers ever. I mean like legit like 2017. He was one of the first people streaming with an avatar. And he was doing this before everybody else and he gained a following. And then other people started VTubing and they they started blowing past him. And he was on the grind to get to 200 average for so long. He was doing like really well. And then other people started just climbing past. And he was like, what am I doing wrong? It wasn't about the number. It was about seeing all these other people grow and being like, am I f***ing up? I don't see it though. I don't know what I'm doing. I think straight up, it was just because he was a dude and it was just harder to grow as a dude at the time. Realistically, there were like no successful male VTubers besides like him and Shoto. And both of them had a hard time growing early. But, you know, before that became really apparent, both of them, really anyone who's like a male VTuber at the time, had to go through that, like, what am I doing wrong kind of thing, which weighs on you mentally because you see all these girls like doing really well and putting in sometimes less effort than you, or maybe the same, you know? And that's very, very hard. So it just, I don't know, it just kind of set a lot of them up to feel a little weird about it because you can't tell if it's circumstantial, situational, or if like people hate you, you know what I mean? You're like, do people just not like me, right? Like it's hard to piece that out. It's not like you can survey everyone, you know, and figure out what the truth is there. So it's tough. That's why a lot of the dudes in this space got really jaded for a while and were like, you know, all negative about it. I feel like there's male VTuber debuff thing. Okay, I'm gonna be so real with you. The male VTuber debuff or buff or whatever you want to call it. You know what it is? They can't hit their audience. That's all. There have been ones from corpos that absolutely hit their audience. There was famously one corpo that had debuted a bunch of dudes and everyone's like, this is gonna flop, and it actually did so well. It was crazy, like insane performance, millions of followers on Twitter, stuff like this, right? Doing great. And it was because they just hit the right audience. They advertised the right way. They kind of co-advertised to like the Genshin crowd as well, which is famously filled with a lot of girls that like art and like to draw characters and like male characters and blah, 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 right? Like they found the audience and they marketed to them. And then over time, that audience kind of became like jaded with a lot of that stuff and kind of like petered out and moved on to new things. And they're still either into gacha or they're into like K-pop. If another group came out or another set of people or an individual or whatever came out and sat here and marketed to those people and managed to do so successfully, they would be very successful. The problem is they all focus on the existing VTuber fan base, which is usually not by and large the one that wants to watch them. It's like the wrong demographic. Because if you're like an indie VTuber, most of those people are ones that want to watch female VTubers on average, not always. And then they're like, how do I grow? And I'm like, you got to look elsewhere, man. The problem is you keep looking in like the small pond, you know? You got to go look into another pond. Doesn't mean you can't dip into both, but you know, like it's legitimately like entry-level marketing, right? But people don't like to think about it that way. But this website is still predominantly like male creators do really well. Male creators tend to do the best. And there's some female creators that do well, but the ones that do well tend to be VTubers on average now. You know, there's some girls that are huge, but most streamers and most viewership are dudes or dudes watching dudes, right? So you just gotta make that work because it's out there. Twitch is overwhelmingly male in audience. It is, absolutely. So it's very doable. Do women watch more pre-recorded? Women are more likely to watch, I mean, it's better on Twitch now. There's a better distribution. It's not as like it used to be like 90% male viewership. Now it's like maybe like a third are women or something like that, just platform wide. But I would say it's the type of content because Twitch was always predominantly gaming, and it was either a mixture of women not being into watching that as much or those communities not really feeling right for them to be in. They didn't really want to be there, especially if it was known that they were a girl. They would get treated like weird, or it just seemed like a hostile environment toward them or something like that. You know what I mean? So various reasons why girls would not propagate over here, you know, and end up like taking root in Twitch. But it's really good now. Yeah, Boone, you're saying like about over a third. Yeah, it being around or over a third is like huge now on a platform that used to be mostly gaming. Like it's really, really good now. There's a lot more girls in this chat. They don't always out themselves, but I know a lot of you are girls, like because several of you have said it here and there. And when I do my meet and greets, I actually have a lot of female audience. My meet and greets, my lines, I have so many girls come up. So it's just, you know, there's a lot of that. But there's a lot of that. You know, it's nice to see because I don't want an audience that's all one, right? I don't want to cater to one specifically. I just want to do whatever, and whoever wants to settle here settles here, and it's not really about that, you know. And I think we've been doing pretty well with that. It's just hard. You can't really like quantify it until you like do an event and see the crowd that shows up, right? Like when I do a panel, I see a lot of girls sitting in the audience, which is nice. So our demographics spread right now for age. Twitch doesn't give you those stats. That's why I'm saying it's so hard to be able to tell. Twitch does not tell you because Twitch doesn't collect that data. Twitch doesn't collect male and female data. So I've got region though. I could tell you like about half of you are US and Canada, and then we got Germany, UK, Australia, France. I have a lot of EU viewers, so I could do like views by location, but yeah, Yeah, they don't give you gender or age group. They do on YouTube, but I don't think YouTube is a good indicator of who's here in chat because my YouTube stats seem to be very different from like what I've got here. Joel does have the 50-50 split. Joel is like, that is so rare. It is so rare. Almost every channel leans like 2/3 to 1/4, like one gender, if not more. It's usually like 90%. Yeah, Boone is 90% lesbian audience. For Joel, he's one of those rare ones where he is 50-50, 51-49%. Or I think his is usually 49-49 and then 2% saying prefer not to answer or non-binary, right? Like that's what his stats look like. He has I think an emote in his chat where you can like pull up the gender ratio and it'll show the 50-50 split. He brags about it all the time because he's like, yeah, I got the rare demographic of 50-50. I'm really glad this isn't a community that scares the hoes. Very welcome. It's so true, man. It's so true. I just get pissed. I get pissed whenever anyone does something that specifically like makes people feel excluded. I'm like, what's the point, dude? What's the point? Because I had to grow up with that. I had to grow up with all brothers and all of their friends being my friends, which were like all dudes, okay? And which meant I was into their hobbies. So I would go with them places and do things with them. And then every now and then I'd show up and I'd be used to them all being very nice and accepting and never making me feel weird for being like the one girl. I didn't see that as like a rare or different thing. I was just like, no, these are just my siblings and their friends, right? But then all the time we would go somewhere and someone would be like, there's a girl here. And I'd be like, this is the most annoying thing ever. Terrible, you know, because I experienced that. I didn't experience that when with my groups of friends. And then I did outside and I was like, what is this? I was confused because I experienced the positive first, right? Like I wasn't excluded first. I was included first with my brothers and with all their friends. So for me, it was like normal to be included. And then as I got older, I started going outside doing more stuff with them, right? I would experience like we'd go play like card games or something, like a trading card game. And I'd be the only girl there, and which I didn't think was weird. I was just like, it's whoever likes the hobby. I didn't think about this stuff, right? And then someone would be like, oh, girl. And I'd be like, what? And all of my friends would be like, what? And my brothers would be like, what? Right? And everyone would be like, huh? And it pissed me off, you know? Like, I was just like, this is stupid. But it didn't piss me off like I'm like, oh, I want to punch that guy. It pissed me off like, what's the point? Right? It just felt silly. So that's why I hate like anything in any communities where they try to like exclude either side, any side. That stuff is it's so juvenile, you know? So we don't let that happen here. We do not, man. We do not, because I don't want to deal with it. I don't want any of you to deal with it. No thanks. Bringing a friend group that included women into Overwatch without a full stack was so painful. In CS, it was not possible. So many times I would, you know, I've played a lot of FPS over the years, and yeah, I would just never use my mic. I just wouldn't. There are girls here. Hold up, gotta put on the Velo voice and start being super funny. Dude, I can't. They would change. Awful. Can I find a normal girlfriend on Valorant? Honestly, I think the ones that use mic are either traumatized and really don't want you to say that kind of stuff to them, or they're gonna be mean to you. You know what I mean? But not like cute mean, not like scare-roused mean, like actually mean. So when I played Overwatch, I had the woman with deep voice debuff, so it was 50-50 on whether they'd try to riz me or not. I would get asked all the time if I was like real. They'd be like, are you real, or are you like a guy pretending? And I'd be like, I don't even have that kind of voice. But they'd hear anything that wasn't super high pitched and they'd be like, oh, is it a voice changer? So I would just be like, yeah, I'm a 50-year-old balding man. I would say it. I'd be like, isn't my voice changer good? And then they'd know I was like with them. But, you know, I would just always answer like that. Be like, you want to go on a date with me, little guy? And it'd be like, some like 20-year-old boy who's like really afraid of gay people, you know? And they'd freak out. I would just mess with them. And then if they thought it was funny and tried to friend me, I would never accept it. But, you know, they'd either get mad or think it was funny. So it's, you know, I had a good time either way. I should just put my cat on the mic. Nucky, I need you to like meow on command for me. So that way, if I play a game, I can just put you on the mic. Who's going to get mad at a cat, right? If they're like, dude, could you heal? Backline, where are you? And then I can just put him on the mic and he goes like, meow. And they'll be like, I'm so sorry, my lord. You know, I've transgressed. I did not realize. I did not realize I was playing with the king. That might be the way to do it.